All right, let's talk about something that trips up so many of us learning Mandarin: numbers. We're not just talking about counting. We're talking about getting to a point where using them in a real conversation feels totally natural, like second nature.
So let me ask you this. Does this sound familiar? You've put in the work, you can count from 1 to 100, no problem. But the second you see a price or an address or hear a phone number, your brain just kind of freezes, right? Well, you are so not alone, and we're going to work on fixing that today. So our first stop is moving beyond the absolute basics. Because our goal here isn't just to memorize a list. The real goal is fluency. But what does fluency even mean when we're talking about numbers? Well, it's what we call numerical fluency. It's that ability to see a number, hear a number, and use a number without that painful little pause while your brain tries to translate. It's about making your response automatic. And that right there is the key. It's a huge shift in mindset. We're moving away from just passive knowledge, just knowing the numbers, and we're building an active skill. We are literally training our brain for speed and reaction time.
So how do we actually build that skill? Well, that brings us to mental agility drills. And you should seriously think of these as a workout for your brain, designed to rewire it for speed.
Just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got your standard rote counting. It's linear, and it's good for building memory. But on the other side, you have these active drills. And what do they build? Reflex. They're dynamic, they're flexible, and they force your brain to actively engage, which is what you need for a real conversation.
So here are 2 really powerful drills you can start using right away. First up, reverse counting. Yeah, instead of starting at 1, pick a random number, like say 87, and count backwards. It totally breaks that comfortable linear pattern your brain is used to. And second, pattern spotting. Just look at a string of numbers and quickly call out only the even ones, or only the ones that end in 5. This makes you process the numbers, not just recite.
And this is why we do it. The whole point of these drills isn't just to get better at counting in a straight line. It's to make you comfortable with numbers in any context, no matter how they're thrown at you. It's all about adaptability.
Okay, so you've done your brain workout. Now it's time for the fun part, seeing how this all plays out with numbers in the wild. Let's take these skills from practice into the real world.
And seriously, once you start looking, you'll find opportunities to practice everywhere. Next time you're shopping, read the prices out loud in Mandarin. Walking down the street, say the building numbers. See a sign for a 20% discount? Try to do the math. You've got to turn your environment into your own personal classroom.
Let's take a look at a real-world example. Here's a famous address in Shanghai. Nanjing Xilu, number 1788. 1788. Now, for a lot of people, seeing a big number like that can be pretty intimidating.
But this is exactly what we're training for. The entire purpose of those reverse counting and pattern spotting drills is to get you to a place where you see a number like 1788 and the Mandarin words just come out, instantly, no hesitation.
Now, let's talk about how we can supercharge our practice. We can actually use a little bit of tech to really amplify our learning.
And don't worry, you don't need anything fancy here. We're talking simple stuff. A random number generator on your phone, an app with a digital spinning wheel, maybe an online whiteboard. These are amazing tools because they add an element of surprise that keeps your brain really sharp.
The real secret sauce here is randomization. See, our brains love patterns, but the real world is totally unpredictable. Using technology to just throw random numbers at you perfectly simulates that real-world randomness, and it's fantastic for building that quick recall skill.
Okay, so we've covered the goal, we've gone over the drills, and we've even looked at some tools to help you out. So what's your next move? How do you take all this and turn it into true mastery?
It really all comes back to this one central idea. Consistent, smart practice is what reinforces the natural rhythm and flow of numbers in the language. It's not about cramming for a test. It's about building a consistent habit.
And that brings us to the final thought. The gap between knowing numbers and actually using them fluently, well, that gap is closed by action. So my question for you is, which of these drills are you going to try first? Are you going to start counting backward from a random number? Or are you going to try spotting patterns? Your journey to fluency starts with that first drill.